Jayden Daniels is out for Monday Night Football. Marcus Mariota is in for Monday Night Football. Let's have a podcast. What up, everybody? It's JP Finlay. It's Beltway Football. He's the big man, Mr. Mitch Tischler. We're brought to you by MGM National Harbor. Maybe if Jayden wants to Monday night, he'll just go watch the game at Tap Sports Bar.
Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen a lot of these injured players travel when they've been on the road, so I wouldn't be surprised if he's hanging around DC getting extra rehab stuff. Maybe he'll check out Tapped and the awesome show they put on for all the Commanders games.
I have one super off the record comment about that, but it's completely irrelevant. Jayden, okay. Jayden being hurt should not be a surprise. He was hurt. Hamstrings or soft tissue stuff you can re-injure easily. You can aggravate injuries further easily. I think this is the right call. I think doing it now is the right call rather than the dance of like, oh, we'll see. Is he practicing? We'll see. Give Mariota the week. Ideally, you get Terry and Debo back. I feel pretty good about those two being on the field. Give Mariota all the work. Just eliminate the sideshow of will he or won't he with Jayden. So like from a decision-making process, I like it all, but they were already 10-point dogs. Now they're 12-point dogs. Like, good luck, Marcus. This is going to be an incredible, difficult game to try to win.
It is, and quite frankly, I hope that number keeps going up. I hope the public gets super excited about Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs, and we get that number up to like 14 or so by the time we tape our TV show or by game time. But at the end of the day, it's going to be a tough test for him. The Chiefs defense is really good. Steve Spagnuolo is awesome at what he does. He's has a top 10 defense out there. He disguises a lot of different blitzes. He makes things difficult on quarterbacks. I do like the fact that Marcus is going to get the entire week to work on it. I think it's a good opportunity for him to really, get some work in with these guys who he's going to play with, since he missed a lot of time in training camp. And it's his starts so far this season have been kind of iffy as we've gone. And again, the sideshow is great to get rid of, and it's going to be the Marcus show on Monday night.
Yeah. It's not good though. This is
No,
third game missed in the last four. No, he played two. Third injury in his first two seasons in the NFL, all different body parts. The injury prone conversation for me is not something I'm that interested in. I mean, quarterbacks miss time, Lamar misses time, Burrow misses time every year. Like, if you have a stud quarterback, you have a stud quarterback. But it sucks. It's unfortunate. I asked DQ the other day, like, hey, this is his second injury this season. How concerned are you about Jayden's overall health? And he said, he kind of was not dismissive, but he's like, injuries happen. It sucks, but I don't think it's something he does as a player that generates it, which I largely agree with. Like the hamstring, this injury was in the pocket. He got sacked. It wasn't running.
yeah, I mean, he just kind of took an awkward hit. And, I think when you look at a lot of things that this Chiefs defense likes to do, there's going to be a lot of pressure on this Commanders O line to keep Marcus upright. The Chiefs don't really only played Jalen Hurts is the only other real mobile quarterback that they played so far this season. And he had 9 carries for 15 yards in that game. Saquon ran for 88. They weren't able to get a ton of stuff going on the ground there. And I think when you look at what Marcus Mariota does, and I take out the really bad interception against the Cowboys last week, I kind of put that as kind of a guy who came in a quick spot and made a really bad decision. But for the most part, Marcus has been pretty decent holding onto the ball and not turning the ball over. And I think when you look at this Commanders offense, they're going to have to control the clock some. They're going to have to figure out a way to get Bill going in the run game. And I think they're going to have to not turn the ball over, and that's something that is going to be incumbent on Marcus as he drops back on Monday.
Yeah, I mean, Marcus was excellent when he played last year. Completed 77% of his passes, no picks, 4 touchdowns. It hasn't been that good this year, but nobody on the Commanders has been as good this year as they were last year. The completion percentage is down significantly. I mean, it's down like 20%. And thrown 2 picks. I mean, the one in Dallas was a terrible throw, but I think that's just him trying to make a play in scramble mode. I like Mariota as a player. This game's going to be really, really difficult. Are you interested in a broader Jayden discussion, or do you think that is like a reach or unnecessary?
No, I mean, I think maybe a broader Jayden discussion within the realm of this season. I'm not ready to make any grand proclamations long term beyond the season of, what is or what isn't with JD5. But I do think with them ruling him out this early, they're calling it a low grade hamstring injury. With them ruling him out this early in the week, I think you have to talk about these next three games as kind of the decider of where this season is going because everyone's talking about, they have these three tough games in a row. It's the Chiefs, the Seahawks, and the Lions. The Commanders have, I think Nikki Jabala reported is the eighth toughest schedule remaining in the league. And, if Jaden's being ruled out this early this week, I think, what happens next week against the Seahawks on Sunday Night Football, what happens the week after that against the Lions will really determine where this season goes. And quite frankly, I think, should be a determining factor in the speed with which or the pressure with which they put Jayden back out on the football field.
Um, I agree. We had callers on the radio show like, "Oh, just shut him down for the season." No, it's far too early for any of that. It's far too early to like. Listen. I get they're 3-4 and have a really tough 3 game stretch ahead of them. Like, we don't know what the hell's going to happen. The NFL's a crazy league. If they, I say they get one of these next three, that puts them at what, 4-6, and then you get Miami. Ideally, that's 5-6. Then you come
Bye week
back.
to get healthy.
Yeah, then you get Minnesota, some divisional games. Like, it's just far too early for any of that talk. Plus, Jayden wants to play. That's who that
Right.
guy is. He wants to play. And so I think to underestimate that is silly too. Um,
I also think that, as the quarterback of the team and a team that's sitting at 3-4, Jayden's getting a fair amount of scrutiny as far as the injury and his play on the field. But we've talked about it on our podcast, often. But the problem with this team hasn't been the offense. Jayden hasn't been the superstar that he was last year, and I think part of that is the injuries. Part of that are is his injuries. Part of that are the injuries around him. But the reason this team is losing isn't because the offense isn't getting things done. It's because the defense can't stop anybody. And I think as we look specifically to Monday night, I expect Mariota to keep this offense rolling. I mean, you look at the games that he played this year, 20 plus points. They're able to move the ball down the field. Obviously things were a little scatterbrained in Atlanta when he was there, but for the most part, when Mariota's had to come in, the offense has continued to move. And so I think as we talk about this season and whether it's won, lost, or whatever as it moves forward, it hasn't really been on Jayden's shoulders. Because he's the quarterback, he gets the credit and the blame when things go right and wrong. But ultimately, if this offense can continue, putting up points, they're going to continue to that you got to play Jayden. You got to give him the time. You got to let him go. To me, this whole season, lands on the shoulders of the defense and what adjustments they're able to make and how they're able to overcome some of the things that have happened on that side of the ball.
yeah, I agree. I mean, if you just look at the stats, just the numbers would tell you. I mean, the Bears game, they away because they turned it over too much. But like outside of that, they're ninth in points, 13th in yards. Like, you can win with that, but defensively they're 27th and 21st. And I think it's pretty clear to see the defense is declining even more with all the injuries.
Yeah,
Um, I mean, the DN situation's a train wreck. The secondary's been bad. I don't
I mean,
know. I,
I
I am I'm not surprised that Jayden's out. I think the team's trying their best to handle it the right way. I think announcing it now is that way. I also won't be shocked if he's out for Seattle too. I think we should prepare for that. At least prepare for that possibility.
Yeah, I mean, they called it a low grade hamstring injury, but ruling him out this early in the week says that it wasn't even close whether he was going to be able to play this week or not. Who knows what that looks like, next week when we get there. But we've wanted Dan Quinn to be a little bit more transparent in the injury front and kind of how they go about things. And I think by ruling him out early, you rule out a lot of that outside noise, particularly as Monday Night Football comes. I mean, heck, tomorrow night we're recording this Wednesday at 2:20 p.m. or whatever. Tomorrow night is going to be a Thursday Night Football game, and Jayden versus Patrick Mahomes would certainly be a storyline that they would talk about go into Saturday and Sunday football, and that would continue to be. And I think ruling out some of that noise allows, as much as everyone wants to say they don't watch social media and they don't, look at what's happening around them. These kids are all, under 30 for the most part, and on it every single day. They see what's happening, and it helps you kind of lock in, I think, particularly with Marcus, and not have the guys when they talk to us and go on social media and stuff have to pretend like, oh, Jayden might play. You're able to lock in, and Mariota is going to be the guy, and pressure's on. This is an important game, and this is the part of the season that you got to start finding some wins that you might not necessarily expect to find. And Mariota's a veteran quarterback. He's been through a lot of stuff in his career, both in Tennessee and Atlanta, elsewhere. And I think this is a chance for him to step up and prove to Commanders fans who may not have loved him, him getting a $8 million deal in the offseason as a backup quarterback, why he belongs here and why it's important to have a guy with his stature backing up Jayden.
Yeah, well said there. All right, I think we're good here, right? I mean, was this an emergency pod? The quarterback's hurt, but it's also the second time he's been hurt this year, and we kind of thought he was hurt.
I kind of think anytime the quarterback is ruled out on a Wednesday of game week, it's an emergency pod because, quite
Yeah.
frankly, we both expected that Jayden wasn't going to play this week, but I also kind of expected that Dan Quinn and folks were going to make us sweat it out and discuss it and play the if game all the way up until Friday or Saturday when they had the final injury report. So for that matter, yeah, I think it's an emergency pod.
Okay. All right. On a personal level, I'm thrilled they did this because I'm actually taking a day off. I never do that. And I was worried it was going to be ruined by this stuff, and now it's all taken care of. I have one more question. I have one more comment, one more question.
All right, hit me.
The Caps sent me this hat. It is super dope. Thank you to the Caps. That was my comment. Everybody
Okay.
on you, the Washington Capitals Hockey Club. My question, is that a new shirt you're wearing?
It is not a new shirt. You've seen it in post-game shows before.
Why are you
Yeah.
dressed up at 2 o'clock on a Wednesday?
Well, I had a hoodie on, and I was on with Mike DePrisco, who's helping us out in the back. And I was looking at the shot, and I thought it kind of looked a little sloppy. So I figured if we're going to throw an emergency pod up on YouTube, I might as well give the folks what they want and look a little presentable.
Love to see it. All right, big man. We will talk soon.
Yeah, if you made it this far, JP owes you a hamstring.
If I could give mine to Jayden, I would. Mine's not probably wouldn't perform at the same level of